welcome back another day, another vlog. Back at work. Unpacked. We're unpacked, set up again. I think this is my, I think apart from a Tuesday, Wednesday before I fly up, and then the Wednesday I get here. Wednesday's chaos because I've got to get to the airport, get up to work, do the work, catch up on that, get all that sorted, and then come home, unpack everything, get the studio set up, and get back into it. But I'm back. We're ready. So looking forward to 2 weeks of creation and some big stuff happening. So it's going to be pretty cool. Big show tonight. Got a fair few things to talk about. Some stuff from Nikon. Some Apple, big news for Apple. Some bits and pieces about Amazon, COVID, all sorts happening. So we might as well get stuck into it. Let's get it going. I didn't, obviously Tuesday night, I normally crash out because I got to get up at 3:30 in the morning to get to work. So I didn't get much done last night. And obviously the night before, I said to you yesterday that I had a bad night, just wasn't good. And after I talked to you in the show, I had a massive migraine, so just turned to tears. And I had another one today, so it wasn't really good. So I should be able to sit down tonight and smash out a heap of photos. I do need to get ready for the big premiere tonight. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't watched any of his videos before, go hit the subscribe on Markholtz's channel. He's a really nice guy. Him and I have worked together before. Just fantastic guy. Just brilliant at editing. I will look at some of his timelines and it just makes me feel, stupid really, because he just does crazy. I think he's a professional editor. He's got his own channel. He does amazing videos on vintage lenses. He got me addicted to vintage lenses to start with. The Super Takumar, which is one of my favorite lenses. I still have it. It's my only vintage lens I kept is my 8-blade 50mm, which I just love. It's an awesome, as a fixed lens for a 50mm, which I don't use a lot. It is just an amazing lens and never fails. So go check him out. He is doing my lens. I sent him over. I had my 300mm Super Takumar f4. I'm not sure if you might have seen. I did try it out for a little bit. It's a little bit tricky. It's a big lens. It's hard to sort of use in a photography sort of a motion. I'm played with it a little bit. I wasn't using it much. He'd never done one, so I said, "Look, mate, I'm not using it at the moment. I'll send it over to you." So he's flown all the way to Canada. Mark, who's Super Takumar legend, just a master of getting into the depths of them and talking about their history. It was only right to give it to him to sort of go through it and explain it and give everyone its history. Go check it out. It's on tonight at 9 o'clock Australian Perth time. Check your local. If you go check out his channel, Markholtz, Holtz. He's got some amazing videos. If you're into vintage lenses, definitely go. He's one you have to watch. And yeah, super proud that he's kind enough to give me a little bit of credit for that. I didn't really want anything. I just thought, well, I'm not using it at the moment. Take it and give it a crack. Look, he does amazing things. It's only going to make that lens look amazing, and hopefully get some more people into the vintage realm. So I'm pretty excited to see what he's done with it. Go and give him some support. As I said, he always does amazing videos. He does a fair bit of professional editing. So it's amazing when you get someone that's got that much talent and skill, put a history together about a lens and in depth, and then the edit is just crazy. His timelines, go check him out on Instagram as well. His timelines are just ridiculous. It looks like a DNA sequence. I keep telling him it's just crazy. But yeah, thanks, Mark. If you are watching, can't wait to see it. Can't watch the video. That's tonight premiere. Go check his channel and you'll get all the details anyway. So very cool. And yeah, sort of one of my lenses is, I guess, semi sort of famous. It's definitely an international traveling lens. It's gone all the way to Canada. You can't travel anywhere in COVID, but my lens got to Canada about. It did take a long while. We did worry there for a bit that it wasn't going to turn up. It was going to disappear. I think it took like 2 months, I think, to get there. But yeah, she's there, and yeah, it's going to be super exciting to see how the lens, what he thinks of the lens, and how he found it. So very, very cool. Rightio, Apple. If you've been waiting, we've been waiting for the Apple iPhone 12. When is that going to happen? What's going on? Why haven't we heard anything? Well, October 13th, they announced this morning, is the next event. So we don't have a time frame as such. I'm waiting to get an email and check that out. I've got to check the websites and that. But October the 13th, so that should be about 6 days from now. So next Tuesday, possibly our Wednesday for us. It'll be 13th. Yeah, so it should be our Wednesday. It'll be the 14th for us. So next Wednesday, you should have the Apple event. So that sort of ties in pretty well because I should be able to give you a full rundown on the Thursday show after the night shift swap over. So that should be pretty cool. Looking forward. Now, rumors are saying that it's pretty much only going to be, the possibility is going to be the iPhone mini, which ain't really a mini. The iPhone 12, which is actually bigger than the old iPhone 10. My iPhone 10 is only just a tad bigger than the iPhone mini, and that's my concern. And they're calling it a mini when it's nowhere near a mini. The iPhone 5 was heaps smaller, and I'm still having trouble getting across. But anyway, we'll get to that. Possibly tags, possibly some other stuff coming. The headphones, the studio headphones, new over-the-ear ones, that should be possibly coming. They are talking about another event in November for the Pro model of the phones. So we don't know realistically. We only know they're possibly going to get 2 phones now. And then November, they could split up the launches of everything. There's possibly a laptop coming. Heaps unknowns. And we won't know till next week. I think it's sort of worked out in their favour a little bit because by splitting up all these events, now no one's really got a clue what the hell's going on. So that should be interesting. Amazon in the States, huge news. Boys are a little able to talk about. I thought it was interesting to look at. 20,000 of Amazon's employees. Obviously, they never stopped. Their share price doubled since COVID. 20,000 employees tested positive for COVID-19. Seems sort of insane that 20,000 employees could get sick and no mention of it on the news or anything like that. But basically, the way they talked about it is the fact, and I thought it was pretty interesting the way Lou talked about it, was he said that there's 1.4 million employees in the US alone that work for Amazon, which is just a ridiculous number. 1.4 million people work for one company in one country. That's insane, isn't it? So 20,000, that percentage is actually lower than any of the levels that tend to be dangerous or anything like that to state regulations, federal regulations over there. So 20,000 seems a lot, and that's pretty scary, I'm sure. For those 20,000 people, I'm sure they don't really appreciate it. But overall, apparently it's not too bad. So, but it just shows you the size of Amazon and how big it is. It's just about its own country. Well, it's going to earn $380 billion this year, which is, I think, pretty close. That's revenue. That's pretty close to Australia's GDP. So that's insanity that one company is worth more than Australia value. So there's an idea of Amazon. Next time you shop on Amazon, just remember where that money goes. Straight into Bezos' trillionaire account. Rightio, Nikon. I've got to pick my book up for the Nikon. Rumours coming out today over on Canon Rumours. Coming through Canon Rumours. I sourced it and it's in from Nikon Rumours, so not sure 100% of this, but the first spec sort of drops for the Z9. So this is going to be their pro model camera. Nikon's been well behind the 8 ball for the last at least 12 months, I guess. There's been talk of them having financial issues and all sorts of all the grapevine stuff that we all hear, especially on here. I guess that's why shows like myself and other shows are all about. They're all about the gossip. Well, the Z9, look, it's due fall 2021. That's what they're saying. I'll go through the specs and we'll have a quick discussion. No plans for the Z8. It should be possibly ready for the Olympic Games for testing. So I'd say this will be one of those cameras which will sort of benefit from the Olympics being pushed back. If the Olympics still going ahead, I'm assuming it should be still going ahead. I can't see them putting it off yet another year. They might as well just wait, just wash it out and do the next 4 years because that country will already be ready. So testing in there, which is a good idea. It's going to be in the lines of the D6 body type scenario, R5 imaging. It's going to have blackout free EVF, 46 megapixels, which is sort of strange. Great for big print stuff, and landscape, which is fantastic. But for sports guys, they're not really interested. They don't need that many pixels. And we've seen from the Sony A7S III that 12, I think it's like 12 megapixels is just ridiculous for low light. A lot of these shoots at the Olympics are going to be indoors, a lot of indoor stuff. Yeah, the lighting won't be too bad, but it's definitely not going to be good enough for photography. So low light will be a huge thing. With such a big sensor, I can see that being possibly an issue. I think, well, you'd hope that might sort of change. I can't see in that as their Pro one. That may change, but be interesting to see how their low light works. 20 frames a second, so it'll match up with the 1DX Mark III and those Canon Pro body ones. That's what it's all about. 8K 30, so they've gone the 8K route as well. 4K 120, so that's pretty cool. 60 and 30 frames. The X-Speed processor is going to be adapted to suit the 8K. Obviously, then now we're going to have heat issues, which I'm sure no professional photographer wants at the Olympics to worry about not being able to shoot a shot because they need 5 cameras just so they can continuously loop them around. That's a little bit silly. 2 XQD slots or 2 CF Express slots, Type B cards. So that's just the expensive $700 cards. Look, it's great they got the 2 cards and the slots. Yeah, that'll be interesting. A little bit more on that we'll talk about. ISO 64 to 25,600 plus a high 1 and a high 2. I'm not sure what the high 1 and high 2 mean, but Nikon's pretty, with their Z6 range, that went all the way up to 100,000. So that was a little bit interesting that it was only as low as 25,000. I thought it would have been at least 50,000 and then expandable up to 100,000. So that was a little bit interesting, especially again, as I said, low light's going to be important for the Olympics. Those indoor sports, gymnastics and all that sort of stuff, those indoor venues, you're not going to get the best light. You definitely need a low light camera, so that's going to be interesting. Sony's going to have no dramas. That A7S III is going to it's going to be a breeze for that. We know that. It's going to have a totally new user interface and no second LCD on the back of it, so that should be good. The Nikon one's been, from what people have reported, is pretty good, so it'd be interesting to see what they change there, if that keeps the Nikon fans happy. Totally new battery. They're looking at a EN-EL18X. Gigabyte LAN, USB-C. Doesn't say anywhere about recording direct to SSD, which, as you know, is one of my pet peeves. Wi-Fi, GPS. Again, no specs on that. This is a long way out. Rumored 6,000 to 7,000 US. So same price as the 1DX. It's definitely the pro level body. So it's going to be robust and waterproof, or not waterproof, fully weatherproof and all that sort of funky stuff, which you expect at that level. I think the biggest thing on that is that sensor. I think, look, pro level guys, I don't think they're super really require that 46 megapixels. Yeah, the R5 has got a big sensor, but it's not going to be the R1. I don't think you'll see the R1 with such a big sensor. I think that you'll see the R1 with something similar to the A7S III going down that low light. The images don't need to be super mega pixelated for what they're going for the pros. They're generally, I've read a few articles where it doesn't have to be like 500 megapixel images to get to print. They just need a quick shot, bang, 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 get them off. 20 megapixels for them is fine. The 1DX is a 20 megapixel, and that's a treat, and that's definitely a pro camera that they love to use. And same with the Sony 12 megapixel. I think it does go up to the 40 for the A7S IV, but that's more of a landscape one. It's not really the pro. I think it's the S3 and the new A7S III, blah, blah, whatever they are. It's hard to remember all the numerical names and numbers. So that's my only concern. Obviously, that storage issue, again, I said it's a pet peeve. Pretty interesting. Great to see, I think, the 4K 120 60 30. And I think that's where they should have stopped. I don't think they need the 8K. Again, it's a pro-level photography tool. It's predominantly going to be sold as that. It's not going to be a pro-level video camera. They're going to go to they'll get a video camera. They'll go to a Canon C300, 200, C70, C50, or a Sony FX9 or something like that. They're not going to use this as a full-time video camera. You don't need the 8K. I think they just need to walk away from that. They should be monitoring the Canon R5 and seeing the issues that's got and saying, well, right, we've got 6 months to cut that out, get rid of it. The 4K 120 will be, if they can get that right with no overheating, well, that'll be a primo feature. That'll be enough to keep the video guys happy. If they can bump that up to 240, that'd be insane. But 120, I think if they can get that at 4K with no crop, that will be insane as it is. So look, it should be a great camera. It's very early days. We're, look, 7-8 months away from that. We'll probably see him at the Olympics. There'll be a lot of rumours around after the Olympics. We'll get to see a lot of the new tech coming out then. So I think we just need to wait a few months. Maybe February, March, we'll get a bit more of a accurate sort of a guideline on where it's going. The Adobe Max conference is coming up. I think we talked about it earlier in the year. Well, it's finally been locked in, October the 20th to 22nd. You can register now. I registered today if you've got an Adobe account. So if you use Adobe for like Premiere Pro and all, if you've got that plan, well, then you get free access straight in. It's pretty easy. Just fill out a quick form on what you're doing and what your business does, what your channel does, all that sort of stuff. You go register, click. It's easy to go click on all the events you want to watch and do. It'll sort of set up a timeline and get you a schedule ready together so you can watch them. Now, it's all free this year. Normally, it's a paid event that you have to be invited to. So this is a great chance for small channels like myself and for you to get along. If you're interested in learning some skills or learning how the pros do it, seeing what they do, I think this is going to be a great learning experience for me. And if you're into that editing side for either anything to do with the Adobe suite, so you go all the way from Illustrators, After Effects, Premiere Pro, Lightroom, the Rush, the mobile apps, how to do stuff on mobile. Really, really cool. Definitely worth checking out. Go register now. Again, it's free. Can't go wrong with that. You're going to get some good info. It's going to be a good little learning lesson for everyone. So there's 350 sessions and speakers from around the world that are part of the Adobe system. So that's really cool. These are all pro guys that make up their programs, that help make new programs and roll it all out. So definitely cool. Go check it out. Rightio, and that's about it. That was easy, wasn't it? Another day. So yeah, again, look, do me a favour, go check out Markholtz. Top guy, really nice guy. Awesome with vintage lenses. If you've ever thought about vintage lenses, chucking them on your digital camera, just because you have to get a digital mirrorless body, you don't have to have all the whiz-bang $5,000 lenses. You can get in cheap. The way I started with vintage lenses, you can buy them for $50 to $100 and get a nice, beautiful old lens with a lot of character. Vintage lenses do have character, and that's what we're all about. It's all about flavor, texture, and your sort of interpretation of everything. So it's a good way to learn. And if you want to get addicted, watch his videos, go check his channel out. You'll definitely come back going, yeah, I'm going to go buy myself a vintage lens. That's pretty cool. So same as I did. And yeah, I do, again, much appreciated him for checking it out. And I think it's going to be pretty cool. I'm super excited how the lens comes up and what he thinks of it. The photos and stuff I've seen and what his message he sent me, he said he's been pretty excited about it, and he reckons it's gone pretty well, and it's been definitely a great thing for him to do. So definitely one to watch. 9 o'clock tonight if you're in Perth or anywhere in the world. Just check your YouTube. When you set the reminder, it'll tell you what time and set you up. So it's only not far away, 2.5 hours from now. So go check that out. Rightio, that's it for me. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you all again tomorrow, Thursday, for another day, another vlog, another pod. If you're over from the podcast, thanks for stopping by and hope you all appreciate it. Rightio, big news, big weeks coming up. Apple, all sorts of stuff happening, and we've got some stuff tomorrow as well launching. So I'll have some more gear tomorrow. So definitely stay tuned. Rightio, catch you tomorrow. Peace.